You're listening to The Residential Movement, where the focus is on making in-home dental care normal instead of novel or niche. I'm your host, Dr. Ashley Robinson, a house call dentist with a lot of passion for reaching patients who are best served in their home or residence. I'm here to encourage, equip, and empower dentists like you to begin offering in-home dental services for patients who cannot get to the office, while also enjoying a more balanced work life. We discuss everything from dentistry, business, ethics, mindset, and more. Listen in to learn how you can become a part of the residential movement. Hello, residential movement listeners. You know that the reason that this podcast exists is to encourage dentists to begin offering house calls. And one of the most intriguing parts of the dental house call profession is the flexibility of the scheduling. The ability to make your own schedule and be accountable to only yourself is super appealing to a lot of people. If you haven't already, please grab your copy of my free guide called A Day in the Life of a House Call Dentist at residentialmovement.com/a-day-in-the-life. In this guide, I walk you through various schedules that could work for a house call dentist, depending on your lifestyle. Another intriguing element of house call dentistry is the access we provide our patients. Not all patients can be treated in a chairside setting, and house call dentists really address a need for patients who are homebound. Even with the appeal of a flexible schedule and increasing access to care, a lot of dentists are worried that if they take on house calls, they'll miss out on the benefits of chairside practice. On this show, I mostly focus on the awesome elements of house call dentistry and all of the cons of working chairside. But in all honesty, there are plenty of benefits to a typical chairside career. Most of us always assumed we'd practice in one location, see a lot of people every day, and practice chairside. That was always the vision, right? Chairside dentistry isn't all bad. So based on conversations with my listeners, I'm beginning to realize that if my goal is to create more house call dentists, I need you to know that you could be a house call dentist without giving up chairside dentistry altogether. Even in my personal experience, for most of my house call career, I practiced chairside part-time. When my own business finally became busy enough, I did become a full-time self-employed house call dentist. But even I began to miss certain elements of working chairside. I love surgical extractions and even a bit of anterior endo. And I'm not doing these procedures in my house call practice. So I began to occasionally pick up per diem shifts at a local urgent dental center to be able to offer these procedures. These shifts are usually early in the morning or late in the evening when my house call practice isn't open, so it doesn't interfere. But at least I'm able to keep using these skills. Also, due to the flexibility of my house call schedule, I'm able to temp for dentists who are injured or on leave. For example, a local doc I know just broke her wrist playing pickleball. I told her I can't really fill in for her because I'm busy with my house calls, but then she told me her practice opens at 7 a.m. Well, nobody's letting me into their house at 7 a.m., so I told her I could at least help her out during the early mornings just to keep her practice flowing while she recovers. I will totally acknowledge that working chairside is appealing, especially during my pregnancy. House calls require heavy lifting and awkward bending. I've even said on the podcast before that I don't think anyone should do house calls 5 days a week. That would be too much. If you're loving chairside work but want to try house calls, don't worry that you have to choose one or the other. You can offer house calls and work chairside. I do want to offer some suggestions though, because certain chairside roles could really conflict with your house call practice. I don't recommend being a long-time associate in any private practice. Although your business is not directly competitive with private practices, your patients and your boss could get confused. Your private practice patients might ask you to do their next cleaning in their home. This is awkward because you shouldn't take patients from your boss, and your patients should clearly know that you're a house call dentist for people who can't leave home. But when they see you there in their chairside office every 6 months, they may begin to question your commitment and the seriousness of your house call practice. Plus, certain associate contracts often come with non-compete clauses. If you can't practice in another office within a certain radius, can you really offer house calls? This is something to look into. If you're looking to work both chairside and do house calls, I recommend finding per diem roles where chairside patients will not be confused about your level of commitment toward them. Or you can work part-time in an institutional setting. Maybe you'll work in a jail or a dental school or something like that. Either way, there should be clear boundaries between who your comprehensive house call patients are and who your chairside patients are. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, in case you were hesitating, you don't need to hesitate any longer. Please note that if you're interested in offering house calls and working chairside, you can absolutely do both. Remember, the world needs more house call dentists. Whether you decide to offer dental house calls or not, please consider supporting those in need of them by contributing to the Home Smile Care Foundation. Visit homesmilecarefoundation.org for more information. Thank you so much for listening in today. I really appreciate you. That's a wrap on this episode of The Residential Movement. If you like what you heard today, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this with them. All of these actions help fuel the residential movement. Visit residentialmovement.com for show notes and for access to any links referenced in this episode. Thanks again for listening, Doc. Keep up the good work.